watching The 7 from WATE 6 on your side.
Good evening, I'm Bo Williams, and welcome to The 7. Let's get a look at the Big 7 stories right now. Topping the list for us tonight, when you think of back to school, we usually think of things like book bags, school supplies, and school buses. But one of those things will be in short supply for Monroe County Schools. Paige Weeks has why you might not see as many buses on the roads and why that is currently a very big issue.
Bo, it's safe to say the parents here in Sweetwater are extremely concerned. Many of them not sure what's going to happen if those buses don't start making rounds. One parent I spoke to is new to the area. He homeschooled his child. He was hoping that his son would be able to go to school this upcoming fall. However, with the bus situation the way that it is right now, he doesn't know if his kid is finally going to be able to socialize with other peers his age in a classroom setting.
It's going to be a big mess, and somebody's going to end up probably getting hurt or ran over or kidnapped, or it's untelling. It's just not a good situation altogether.
Of course, this situation means a lot to so many people here in Sweetwater. We will keep you updated as more information becomes available. Reporting in Sweetwater, Paige Weeks, WATE 6 on your side. Bo?
All right, Paige, thank you. And ahead of the school year, THP troopers in the agency's transportation unit are making school bus safety a priority with inspections. THP says there are around 9,500 school buses that pupil transportation inspects, with an average of approximately 17,000 bus inspections annually. Apart from inspections, each year, pupil transportation also provides mandatory 4-hour driver safety training. Continuing our Big 7 list for you with another concern that's been reported statewide and really nationwide ahead of the school year, a teacher shortage. Now, we reached out to Knox County Schools to see where the district stands. We're told there are 94 total teacher vacancies for the entire district. That number is actually low when you consider there are 5,000 certified teachers employed in Knox County. Most individual schools only have about 2 or fewer job openings, and because of the incentives KCS offers, they believe most of those jobs will be filled by the start of the semester.
Parents should not be concerned that their students would not have a teacher in the classroom come the start of school. We feel like we're in a really good position to staff for this school year, and the work's ongoing to make sure that we fill all those positions.
A Knox County School spokesperson told us that Tennessee has been producing fewer and fewer educators in recent years, which is part of the reason some districts are struggling. But KCS has broadened its field while looking for teachers, hiring from all across the country. Next on the Big 7, numbers are down again, but the question is it a recession? That's a question America is wrestling with as we get a new check on the health of the economy. Now, we spoke with a UT economist who is close to the center of this question. The National Bureau of Economic Research is the group that determines whether or not we are actually in a recession. The organization has many different researchers across the country, and one happens to be right here in Knoxville. Dr. Marianne Wanamaker is an economist and the director of the Howard Baker Jr. Center for Public Policy at UT. Though she is not a part of the decision-making process, she does have insight on what goes into determining if we are, in fact, in a recession.
Over the last year, we've seen employment continue to grow, we've seen household incomes continue to grow, and consumer spending has been really strong. Over the last couple of months, we've seen a slowdown in economic growth, and the estimates for both the first and the second quarter are now negative.
She says people should not panic just yet, as some of the negative growth in Thursday's report comes from housing expenditures and a reduction in consumer durables like automobile purchases. Now, according to Dr. Wanamaker, the information we got today about economic growth is just a provisional estimate. It will not be finalized for several months. Meanwhile, the president and his administration remain defiant that the U.S. is not in a recession and that the economy is only slowing down because of a strong and fast recovery from the pandemic. President Biden spent today meeting with the heads of major companies like Bank of America and Marriott International as he paints an upbeat picture pointing to the strong labor market.
Both Chairman Powell and many of the significant banking personnel and economists say we're not in a recession. We see signs of economic progress in the second quarter as well.
Republicans, though, less optimistic as inflation remains at record highs. American families paying more for everything from groceries to housing right now, all while a deal has been struck between Senator Joe Manchin and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer on a spending bill that will also help ease inflation, along with tackling climate change and reducing the federal deficit by $300 billion. Next on our list right now, the man suspected of fatally shooting another man at the Ball Gentlemen's Club has now been indicted on voluntary manslaughter charges. This is a story that we have been following since July of last year. Randolph Gardner was later arrested in connection with the shooting. We've been telling you it left 36-year-old Broderick Gibson of Knoxville dead. 2 other people were hurt when shots rang out. We'll continue, of course, to follow the case against Gardner in court. Next on the 7, the Tennessee Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or TOSHA, has now opened an investigation following an explosion that happened at a Sevierville chemical plant just last week. You may remember the explosion happened at Johnson Matthew Catalyst on Airport Road. At the time, we were told a nickel and aluminum powder went up in flames. No one was hurt in the explosion. TOSHA tells us an investigation like this can take 3 to 6 months to complete. And rounding out the Big 7 for us tonight, a bill from Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn would change how social media platforms are designed for young kids. Among other things, companies would have a duty to prevent harm to kids, including content that promotes eating disorders. They'd also have to give parents access to settings like time limits on the platforms.
They began to see that the enemy wasn't always outside the home. Many times it was inside the 4 walls of their home, and it was coming at their child off of a device.
The bill passed in a Senate committee last night. It has bipartisan support.